We good?
Yeah.
Let's kick it.
All right. Let's. Why don't you play us in?
Well, thank you for coming back to another episode of the Bowhunting podcast. Today is a little internal boy, as we like to call him. Nothing crazy going on. No guest. Oh, what do you got there?
I've been seeing the kids drink what is it? Topo Chico.
Wow.
So
Explain what
It's
Topo
fine.
Chico is, dude. It just looks like
I
water.
think it's just bubbly water.
Nothing special, just mineral water in there.
I suppose.
Special.
It's straight from Monterrey, Mexico. All the good water
Dude,
comes from Mexico. Everybody
You're
knows
gonna
that.
get the revenge. Toilet is down the hall
To the left.
to the left.
I staked it out already, just in case. So, let's jump into our internal podcast today. We wanted to talk about turkey hunting.
Yes.
So
Good.
we're what? How many weeks out? 3 weeks out?
Less 2.
2 weeks
Well,
out.
for our season, opens on Saturday the 17th, and it runs for a week. We get 1 week to go chase turkeys, and we're going to go in northern Michigan.
Michigan.
It's just a spot where we've always been to. Last year, we got us into some crazy stuff, so if you haven't listened to that podcast, jump back to last year's, and you hear about that story.
Good
and
callback.
just a crazy adventure we had to go on due to COVID. It was kind of stupid, but we made it work, and I shot a turkey, but I won't explain too much more. You can go check that one out. But
Yeah.
we're going back to that area. It's an area we know about that we've been hunting there how long? 4 years now?
Oh, yeah, at least. I think I shot that first turkey there 6 years ago.
That's right.
No, and that same year was my first turkey and my biggest buck. That was a good year.
That was a
It was a
really
really
good
good
year. Yeah. So we know the area. We know
That was my last streak. I had a streak there where I was on a roll. I was where you were now on the streak that you're on is the streak that I was on.
I'm in on. We said this in the last podcast. I'm on a good little streak.
Yeah.
And it feels good. So I don't want to mess it up this year. So we're gonna be going hard for the Saturday to when I'm gonna be going till Wednesday.
I'm going to be going out for the early morning hunt, and then obviously for the weekend I'll be hunting all day. But during the week, we're hunting in the morning and then working afternoon. So,
Yeah, once the week starts though, the weekend you're.
Oh, the weekend doing the whole thing.
Yeah, we're going bow.
Yeah, bow and go. Go and bow
Go
is
and bow.
Jared's coin phrase.
Coin it.
And it is the way that we typically will hunt turkeys. So what we wanted to do today, we'll walk you through what we're going to do this year, what we've done in the past that works. So, Jared, you want to explain how we start?
Yeah. So I mean, turkey hunting's not that complicated, but most of the time we're gonna try to find and locate those turkeys the night before. So we're going up to the ridge, if we know where they're roosting, we're gonna check if they are roosting there.
Yeah.
So we'll drive up to the known locations, whether that's a ridge kind of overlooking water, because typically turkeys kind of like to roost over ridges overlooking
Why is
water. Why are they on ridges?
Why? Well, I know that it's easy for them to get on or
Right.
whatever. Why are they usually by water? Didn't we talk about that before? I think on one of our
I think
last
we did,
episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we find them over water. Go check it out.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't remember off the top of my head.
Which we should, but
We really should. But you know what? How many episodes has it been? Like 100?
too many, man.
You can't remember all of them. Anyways, so we're gonna locate them first. But I guess what you've done, you skipped a step. Like that's assuming, and we do know this year that we know exactly where birds historically are in areas, right?
Right.
We spent years just kind of getting to know the area, knowing where the birds go, and we've come up with kind of a place where it's like we can go check night before our opener. We go check these 4 places.
Mm-hmm.
And the beauty for us and for this season is this is like the first day you can turkey hunt in the state.
Right.
Is on the 17th. So we go, these birds are unmolested. You know, they're out there and they're very receptive historically to calls. When we're out, we don't see hunters that much, and these birds are usually pretty easy to get going with an owl hoot or a turkey call, which Jared does love to do the who cooks for you.
I do. I'm starting to get a little bit better.
Are you
But-
would you do one right now? Could I convince you to?
Yeah, dude, give me a second.
All right. Because I don't know what you do with the mic to not blow out everybody's ears.
I'll pull it back a second.
All right, try that.
Oh.
That's pretty good.
Right?
Right? We'll throw a few of those out, and generally you hear some gobbles.
Yeah, they'll fire right back as soon as you do that.
Yeah, you use your map to figure out where they are and kind of just key in that in the morning. And so that's what we're going to do this year.
Yep.
Last year we did it. Just a throwback. We put your birds to bed. We found mine, put them to bed. Well, we didn't exactly pinpoint it perfectly because that morning I remember I'm walking out. I'm like, all right, I know the birds are like somewhere in here. I'm going to go up this gas line set up. As I'm walking, I can see birds in the tree literally above me as I walk right underneath them. I'm like, oh, crap. I ended up calling them in. I think they slept. Like, they were very straight like this, like just.
A little bit alert?
I don't know. They like did not move. That was like their head wasn't moving. They were just like.
Just chilling.
It was dark, so it was real hard to see. They might have seen me. But I ended up calling them in. But that's that's how you get started. That's how we do it, at least.
Yep, that's our first step. If we can find,
which is standard. That's kind of the.
But if you're new to turkey hunting, that might be something new you learned. So that's our first step. So we'll typically set up on those birds in the morning as close as we can to their roost. Whether if we got a belly crawl within a certain distance of that roosting tree. I don't like pushing in any closer than 100 yards.
Really? I've heard guys getting way closer.
That's
like
fine.
60 or so.
Yeah.
I've generally subscribed to about 100 yards. If you can get in within 100 yards.
Sure.
So I'm with you there.
And yeah, so if you're able to do that, I mean, there is a chance that those turkeys are going to fly down right to you, right?
Yeah.
But if you think of a clock, right? Think of a clock on the ground, and the roosting tree is right in the middle, right? There's only a 20% chance that you're going to have a shot at those birds.
Right from the roost, you're saying.
Right from the roost, right? So they're going to fly down
in that
in one of those angles. But if they fly down to, say, the 5 o'clock, 6, or 7 o'clock, which you're set up at the 6, right? They're going to pass at least in some sort of range around there. So
what about, I'm used to digital. Like how
it's not going to work that way.
It's not going to work.
No.
Right.
I'm just thinking, I'll put a pie chart.
Okay.
Is that better thinking?
A pie.
A pie.
Pizza pie.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know hunters have great success doing that, but it's not going to pan out all the time. So these turkeys will usually fly down off the roost, and they'll most of the time gather up in like a field edge or a known gathering area where they can all get back together. But usually around like that mid-morning when, gobbling has just kind of cut off and you can't get anything to respond, that's when we like to kick in our go and bow strategy.
That's when that really comes into play. The rest is pretty standard. And even the go and bow is just our private label of a pretty, I mean, it's
of
pretty,
a run and gun.
Yeah, it's pretty similar, pretty straightforward. It's similar to what a lot of guys are doing, and it's a lot of fun, but you cover a lot of ground.
Yeah, only we're doing it with bows.
Yeah, it's a lot of walking and calling, and especially for us on public land, we'll cover the spot that we're at, then we hop in the car, head to a few spots that we've seen turkeys or at least have good habitat, have heard them in the past. I know that one when the spot we were seeing how far we could shoot the arrow.
That was a lot of fun.
That was a good spot where we heard them. We heard turkeys in the distance, so we know this year if our hot spots are off, we go to that spot. We walk that ditch.
You talking about the bow golf we were playing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a wide open field, right? Imagine a wide open field on public land. We both were shooting recurves at the time.
Yep.
So no one was around, no danger, anything like that. But we would pick, I don't know, like a small sapling tree,
or like
a mound or something like that, and we would be 300 yards away, 200 yards away.
Yeah, I would say.
And we're just sending it, man.
Pointed at the sun.
Pointing it as far as we can go. Obviously, we'd have to go find the arrow, but
it wasn't hard because. Remember, they just land straight up like a flag.
Yeah, land straight up and down. And if you've ever wanted to shoot a bow straight up, or at least at like a 45,
we found like this amazing field for it, public land. Hopefully, that's not like illegal, or we just
too bad.
Send the bill to Jared.
Bring it over. I'll rip it up.
Yeah, so the idea is you go to your hot spots in the morning, try to call them in. If by midday they're not around, we'll go cruise and, look for spots, or at least we can, call them and figure out where they are. I always feel like at that time of year, they're like somewhere in the woods. Like I always find them back where we camp. They're back in the woods at that part of the day.
Yeah, so right around that mid-morning time, after like the birds are breaking up from their flock, the hens, if they've bred and they've got a nest, they're going to go back and nest. If they haven't, they're going to be just kind of trotting off, and all of a sudden the toms are going to be like, well, what the heck, where'd all the ladies go?
Mm-hmm.
So then they're going to be going back to like their strut zone areas.
Yeah.
And that's typically where we're able to intercept them, so to speak. So then
I want to stop you there, right? Strut zone.
Yeah.
Explain what that is for someone who doesn't know what it is, and how you find or how you determine where it is.
The strut zone is like the turkey's dance party, right? Yeah. It's just an area probably, I don't know, we'll say 50 yards.
It's the Strip on spring break.
Yeah. If you've ever been there, yeah, you know.
You've been to Panama City.
It's just his place to strut his stuff.
Yeah.
And hopefully find a receptive hen either coming to him or he can hear one, crossing his path. So it's just a zone that he just likes to be at.
How are you finding them? Are you finding them where and how are you finding them? I feel like
that's a good question.
One place that you've identified that I've seen that's a nice spot is where you shot one last year. It's off that field. Yeah. It's kind of between a field and the roost,
mm-hmm.
and it's in kind of an open area.
Yeah,
they move through it.
Yeah, it could be an old logging road. It could be a flat top on top of a ridge. It's someplace where toms can feel safe, but also see around them.
Yeah.
In case they can see a hen coming through, or if they need to see danger. It's just a good lookout place. It could be like a wide open timber.
My dad's old food plot. Remember that where you and Mason hunted?
Yeah.
That's a strut zone. That's between where they come down from their roost to where they're headed to the field for middle mm-hmm. of the day. They'll be hang out in that field and sun. And so, yeah, I feel like that's generally where we found them.
Yeah.
Running and going and bowing.
Thank you.
That is, you get up from that spot and you start looking for them. When you're doing that, I'm interviewing you right now.
Sweet.
Right? Because Jared has more turkey hunted. You have more experience than me, so you're the resident expert.
Sure. Send it.
So right, you get up, you start heading out. Where do you go? How do you figure out where to go for your going bow?
I'm just going.
You're just going.
I'm going till I.
Where are the turkeys going to be?
You don't know.
You're cruising all over the place, walking around.
Yep.
They're not in the swamps, that's for sure.
No. So I'll typically, if I can find a 2-track that's ripping through some public, I'm going to park at the beginning of it and just start walking.
Yeah.
And then you can throw out those locator calls. You can do a crow call. You can.
Do you do crow calls midday or I
No,
I never do one. I only do.
I have one. I just don't ever use it. Yeah. Most of the time I'll just do a yelp.
Yeah, I do too.
And if the yelps aren't getting any, turkeys to respond, then I'll maybe switch to like a short little bit of cutting because maybe they're just looking for that type of call. Yeah, just a quick little bop, 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 just a quick, maybe like a 3 burst and maybe a 1 or 2 yelp after that.
Yeah.
Just change it up. If one call's not working and you're not getting any responses, just change it up. See if they might fire back right after that. If you change the call.
Or they come in quiet, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
My patience isn't big enough for when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not responding, I wait around. I'm like, I'm out of here.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, after mid-morning, we're getting down. We're getting out of the woods, and we're just kind of covering some ground, man. We're just trying to get something to respond that we can go and try to aggressively pursue. Yep. So, say we're walking along this 2-track and we get a gobbler to fire off. Well, toms have different behaviors. Mm-hmm. They're not always going to come right in. You may get a tom to gobble and you may set up at a position, right? We'll say 100 yards out, and then maybe you creep into 75
Yeah.
and give out a call, and he gobbles back, but only he's farther away. That's kind of like a
It's like the dance that they're doing.
yeah, it's just a little bit of like a give and play. That Tom maybe, just he may be just like a subordinate Tom.
Yep.
Where he may have been beat up by another dominant Tom, and he's just a little bit skittish to come in to like a receptive hen. So this is where the go and bow strategy, you need to know how turkeys are behaving to be able to be successful. So if you've got a turkey that's doing that, you creep closer, he goes farther away. You got to get around him, right?
You got to get around him.
You got to get around him so that you can call again and act like a different hen in a different location.
You think he'll come then he'll
he
come
could.
to you?
I mean, it's worked for me.
So
pull up your GPS mapping app. We use HuntWise. We can check out what terrains, if there's any bodies of water that we think he's just not going to come across.
Use that as a barrier.
Yep.
Because
turkeys don't like, getting their feathers wet, so they're not going to.
Well, their feet aren't webbed. So like swimming is really hard.
Swimmers.
Like if you ever swim with just some forks, it's just you're not going to. Yeah, that's a good. So that's how you're finding them, right? That's how when we go out, we'll generally sometimes we'll split up. Occasionally we'll walk around together and try to just call with each other because it's fun. But usually in the morning, you go this way. You basically go to the north, and I kind of go to the south end. We got our spots, and then we'll kind of meet up and then do a little creeping around. But that's half of it. Like the other half we haven't talked about yet is the bow part. So the way that we turkey hunt, and some people do it a ton of different ways. Shotgun, in a blind, shotgun just from setting it on their knee. People take bows out and go in blinds. The way we do it is we find natural barriers when we're out there, and we'll take like little canvas, camo canvas sheets, and put them
camo
out.
netting.
Camo netting. I never can come up with that. I come up with a different way to describe it every time, and it never makes really any sense.
Every time I gotta correct
camo netting.
Camo netting. Camo netting. Camo netting.
Camo netting.
Here.
We'll take just a strip. Mine is shredded right now.
Oh yeah.
Like half mine's all torn up. I use it for deer hunting. Yeah. It's seen some things. So,
gnarly.
But we'll pop it up. We're getting our stuff set up, and like I'll look for just a down tree or something, big clump of stuff, put it right next to it. I feel like Toms or Jakes or turkeys in general are just not as I don't know. They don't have very good discernment when it comes to what's a natural thing and what's not. Like you can just pop a tent out into a field, and a turkey will still come up to it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like deer, on the other hand, will be like, "What the heck is that thing in the field?" But turkeys don't seem to make a big. Have you seen that? Would you agree with that? If you popped out a tent, like turkeys?
No, yeah, they're not going to be too skittish. Most people hunting with a bow, are using a ground blind.
Yeah,
like
a tent.
A pop-up ground blind tent. Yeah. So I don't know if we're the exception, but I just don't like hauling those around, especially for
the going bow.
For the going bow.
You got me to switch to those. What are those those decoys you convinced me?
The Avian X.
Yeah, I had other ones, and he's been convincing me to get Avian X.
Will you be using the turkeys if you're getting mobile? Going bow.
Yeah, I think so. Would you?
Will you? I probably won't.
My thought was I leave the Jake and I just take a hen.
Okay.
Because I'm the hen. I'm calling as a hen.
Sure.
That was my thought.
Okay.
Because we haven't talked about this yet. Like, what's your? What do you think? Are you going nothing?
No, I'll probably use a hen too.
They're big.
It doesn't take up that much space, and if I have to release, so these decoys that we have, they've got a little
nipple.
Yeah, a little valve, like an air stem, that you push in to release, to lock it, pull it out to fill it back up, and I'm sure we could deflate them a little bit, throw them in the pack. But the only thing is,
they reflate again. They reflate to a certain point.
Yeah, but
they don't stay flat. They like kind of puff up a little bit.
If I'm walking along and I hear a gobble, right? I mean, you've got limited time to get set up.
Mm-hmm.
You've got limited time to get a
decoy
out.
Exactly.
Like he very well could be coming in hot. It's early in the season. They want to breed. So time is of the essence. And I don't know if pulling out a decoy out of my pack is going to be the right move. But
that's a good thing that you brought it up, because that's kind of what I was thinking too. Get it in the morning, get your ideal. I've got you've the half strut, Jake.
Yeah.
Mine's the quarter strut. He looks like a little weenie, which I think is ideal. You want a Tom to come in thinking like there's a weenie Jake taking his taking his hand. But after that, my thought is I'll throw up. I got my backpack has a frame, so I'm gonna keep the hen in there and just leave the Jake, and
Sure.
then if I have time, pop it up. If not, it's just I had to put mine on the frame to make this work because they're so big. I'm squishing it between the frame rather than strapping it to the back. I have a Stone Glacier Kiowa, then I just pop it to the frame. But will you have your pack in time?
I don't know. Nope. I ordered the Kifaru
Striker with a Y.
Yeah. The light frame.
Of the light frame.
Yep.
I'm excited. I've not used a Kifaru yet. We've used a lot of different packs.
It'd be sweet
so
to get our hands on them. Yeah.
Yeah. The Stone Glacier is sweet.
Yeah.
That works pretty well.
Yeah. So decoys, I don't know.
And you're gonna
I don't know.
Decoys is something else to talk about. Ours inflate. So it's been this week we've been talking like how are we gonna hook them up to our packs? And so I'm putting mine in my my meat compartment.
Got the sniffles, man.
Yeah, I do really bad.
That sucks.
You have what'd you glue something on or something like that?
Yeah. So a good buddy of ours, Joe Griffin, we did a little get together with him a few weeks back, and he's got a different set of decoys, but he actually punched a hole right through the tail.
He's got what, Dave Smith? They don't inflate?
I don't know. I don't know what they were, but they remained somehow inflated. Somehow. I don't know what he did.
That was a critical piece of
I
information.
don't know what he did to them. Or maybe it was like a hard plastic. Not like a rubber.
Yep.
Like ours, but he drilled a hole through the tails of them and then tied a piece of 550 cord.
Yeah.
Through it, and then he just loops them onto his pack. And I'm like, that is a great idea. Can't do it to mine because these things are rubber and it's almost like an inner tube. But I decided to use that concept and I just super glued a piece of 550 cord on the tail.
I wonder. I hope it doesn't. I'll say this. I'm skeptical of it because I think that glue is gonna pop right off.
Well, we'll see.
If it works, I think that's the better option.
I only did that to the hen.
Because of Jake.
You
put a
I
slip knot.
Yeah, I noosed it.
Right around his tail.
Yeah, right around the tail. So if I wanted to take it off, I can, but it still gives me the ability to pack it out, so to speak. And I haven't quite determined how I want to keep them from sloshing around back there because they kind of bang into each other a little bit.
Did you find that you were testing it out?
Yeah. I don't know if I
I
want to hang them on the sides or if there's a way to hang them in a way so they're not bumping into each other. But it wasn't a crazy amount of noise.
No.
Like if I was sneaking in, it's not like they're.
You wouldn't be doing. The
wouldn't
thing
know.
is, if you're sneaking in, you wouldn't have them like that, anyways. You know what I mean? You drop all that stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So it's not really. It's a moot point.
Yeah, but that's. I mean, if I was out mobile, I'm only gonna have one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have
too.
one, you can just strap it on.
Right.
That
Throw
one
it down.
straps down pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the. Those are the things that like you think about right before season starts.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've been thinking about. I'm not gonna lie. Today I did a dry run.
Did you?
With my stuff? Yeah, I did.
That's a good call.
I wanted to try my pack with a frame because when I was testing out before, I strapped it to the outside. But my thought is, I'll throw them in the So I'm like, I don't know if this will work. So I've been messing with it. And I spent some time on the phone with Stone Glacier, just getting my situation set up. And I feel like I'm there, but I'll probably give it one more dry run before giving it the real wet run.
The old Jim Z guarantee.
I want to make sure I can give it the James Z guarantee for success. We'll have to see.
That's fair.
So,
back to turkey a little bit and decoy setup.
Oh yeah. What's your take on what's your decoy setup look like?
Oh, all right.
Is that where you're going with it?
Kinda. I don't know where I was going, but
Okay,
I just want to steer us back.
Yeah, that's probably good. Yeah, so the decoy setup, like we're talking about lugging them around. We actually both shared that we are a Jake and a hen type setup. Like, what's the way that you set them up?
Oh, I got a tickle in my throat.
You're right.
I'm all right. Bear with me. Yeah, I'll throw out a Jake and a hen because, man, them toms get pissed off.
They don't like it
when they see a Jake trying to breed a hen
without his buddies. Because if a Jake's got his buddies around, they kick the crap out of the toms.
Yeah. So I'll throw out them two. I'll have actually both decoys facing me, right?
Yeah.
I'll have the hen first, closest to me. Then I'll put the Jake, I don't know, couple yards behind her, both looking at me, either at my, we'll say 10 o'clock, or I might die.
Can you edit the sound for when you cough and do like a squeak or something like that?
Either the 10 o'clock or the 2 o'clock facing me, because if I got those birds coming in, I don't want them directly in front of me.
Right. So you don't want them right here, because otherwise you're going to, why? Explain that.
I want those, man, I might die. Seriously.
Want some bubbly water?
No. I'm going to work through it.
I'm interested in this because I have a slightly different take on it.
I want those turkeys to lock onto the decoys if they can.
Yeah.
Right? So if I'm moving and those turkeys are approaching from the backside of the Jake, okay, I don't want them looking past the decoys and seeing me moving.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Yep.
So if they're off to the sides, they're going to be locking onto them and then moving in, so I might be able to get away with some movement.
Yep.
And then say I have the decoys on the left. If turkey's coming from the right,
yeah,
that gives me a ton of shot opportunities. Like if I'm up in the woods or some timber,
yeah,
they step behind a tree, I can pull back.
That's the big thing with bow hunting. With rifle, it's easy. You put it on your knee, you wait, and then you pop them. But for bow hunting, it's like you got to figure out a way to kind of sit up and do this, and that's what killed me last year with my recurve.
Yeah,
like it's hard. You can't hold it back, and so I timed it the way I would have for a compound bow, and it just blew up for me.
Yeah.
So that's big. So you put them to one at
one side, yeah,
with the Jake behind the hen.
Yep, because I want that.
That's exactly how I do it, actually. I thought you were going to say something else. What my plan is always, so wherever the way the turkeys I think are coming, if I'm calling in toms from their general direction, I want the decoys over here. So they'll come past.
So if you believe them coming from the right, you want your decoys on the left.
To the left of me, just like you said, 10, 11 o'clock, hen in front of a Jake, opening for that tom either to give me a shot in front of me that I can't see, or to strut up and face the decoys so I can shoot them right in the pooper.
You going right in that
Texas hard shot,
stinky brown eye?
Yeah, that I feel like that's it's not ideal. I mean, you'll lose some meat that way, but I feel like
that's bow hunting, man.
It gives you a good bullseye. You know what I'm saying? It's like very easy shot reference.
Yep.
You know, deer don't have it when you're shooting at a vital. You have to imagine the spot there. Turkeys will give you that bullseye.
Aim for that butthole, boy.
Yep.
So that's how I'm setting up my decoys, and I just want to have that tom come in, strut around that Jake. If he wants to start whooping his behind a little bit, that's great.
Yep.
You know, concentrate on the tom. Or concentrate on my decoy while I pull back. And
what's your broadhead of choice for this year for turkey? And why? Because I have a take on that I want to share with you.
Fair. Last year I shot the Montec, G5 Montec, and killed a turkey with it. But this year I am going to use the Mega Meat 3-blade expandable.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. Because you like big surface area. Same for a deer or whatever else.
Yeah, the turkeys have a vitals probably like the size of your fist, right? A lot smaller than what a whitetail is that you can get away with. So obviously if you hit your mark with any broadhead that you're using, you're going to kill it, but I just want as much blunt drama to that turkey as I can, just because if I miss, I just want to make
you have more margin for error.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. That's what my thought is. So because I shoot a recurve, the expandable is out of the question. Although, I think we come up with the first recurve, the first traditional expandable. Think how many traditional hunters would hate that idea.
They would kill you.
But I'd go for like the widest, biggest broadhead because I'm not shooting that far. Mm-hmm. My decoy setup is usually about 15 yards away from me.
Sure.
And I want something that's big, and it doesn't need to be even that terribly like the blunt force is way more important to me. So I've got one that I've been saving for this. I don't even know the brand of it. I've had it forever. It's like a broadhead this big, and my hope is just that's all I need.
Nice.
But yeah, it should be an exciting year. We should probably come back after season and give a little recap.
Yeah, absolutely. We did that last year with Mark.
Mark, you guys both got turkeys.
Yeah, we talked about the whole thing with him because he went to a farm up north, probably 20 minutes away from us.
His new place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So he had a good time. He killed one with his bow. I killed one with a bow. And yeah, we had a few good stories.
I didn't, and I had to jump in the water.
Yeah, you did. Is that going to be in play this year?
It should be. It was.
Yes.
It was not ideal. I was frustrated. Actually, that morning I thought I was going to shoot a turkey because you had shot one already, and we went out together. We had toms hang up just.
Yeah, they were firing off too.
I thought for sure the way that they started coming in, I'm like, heck yeah! It was actually the same spot you shot your turkey in, wasn't it? Wasn't it in that?
We went there in the morning.
Remember,
don't give away the story, man.
Yeah, I guess go listen to the story. But yeah, we got close. So hopefully we make one, shoot a couple, and I think we have to do the water bet. Mark will do it, right? We'll just volunteer him for it.
Yeah, we'll volunteer him.
And we'll bring him on. We'll bring Mark on for the next episode too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, I don't know. We wanted to take some time, just me and Jared, to talk through what we were thinking. Well, we're going to be putting out some content about it. We have some out already. So check out our blog, right? We got one article. I think.
Yeah, I'm actually. So I know we earlier in this episode, I was trying to touch on a little bit about what the setup on our strategy is going into this. I wanted to talk about tom behavior a little bit.
Still, right now?
No, not yet.
Okay,
but
yeah,
I'm gonna be coming out. Like, I'm gonna be dropping some articles on that, and maybe we'll talk about it next episode.
Good idea, because we have articles coming out. And we also have done some videos with Huntwise.
Yeah.
So probably plug those. Those will be coming out soon. That is like a much deeper dive than what we've covered here.
Mm-hmm.
We actually even walk through exactly how we would hunt certain properties.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
They give us a piece of property, and we dissect how we would strategically plan out a turkey hunt if we knew very limited information. So
we gave you a very general overview tonight. Wanted to just take a minute to do that, and also just tell you to check out those videos. We've been trying to make slightly more content around just for if you're a beginner or you want to know some basic stuff. We've been writing a lot of articles on our blog, everything from cooking to hunting tactics to aiming your bow to you've been doing a video series on choosing a bow.
Yeah.
If you guys are interested in anything like that, check it out. Let us know if you have other questions or want to see topics for us to cover, and we appreciate you taking the time to listen to this episode, Jared and I, tonight.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
See ya.